Gents, Europa League fallout all over the back pages today. United show a fight, a delight for Amorim, back of the Express, Big Ange off the hook, back of the Mail, Kulusevski goal, save Spurs, blossom yet, more agony, checkmate.
Is that a good result though for Spurs?
No, but I think the way the game went, I think Spurs were...
Well, they're just outside the automatic promote.
One place out, 11 points to Rangers.
I'm sure they'll be fine still.
The performance, though, Ray, is going to concern. It was not the performance that's going to worry the doubters, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I watched the game at the weekend, Spurs v Chelsea.
Great game.
Obviously, Spurs were winning the game, but I just couldn't see Chelsea losing it because the chances they was creating, one, it was sooner or later, one's going to go in. And that's exactly what happened. And, Palmer was excellent again, wasn't he? But it was a really good game to watch. For a neutral, and a Chelsea fan, it was a brilliant game to watch. It really was.
Because... So Sam Ange picking out Werner,
Well, I was literally about to ask you guys this question because I think it's pretty obvious for everyone watching the game last night that Timo Werner is struggling, right? He's badly out of form. I mean, his first touch last night was so bad. But it's very rare you hear a manager come out, and let's be honest, dig a player out. Yeah. Is it fine? Is it, grow up, man up, deal with it? Or is it something a manager should never do like that?
Ange doesn't really do that a lot, I don't think. So I think it could be bye-bye.
I think you've got to be careful with that. You've got to be careful.
I think not for Ange, for Werner.
Yeah,
I think it could be see you later.
But back to your day, Ray, when you were playing, if you hear a manager dig out a teammate, it's something that the players talk about, something that doesn't go down too well in the dressing room.
I don't think it's too ideal. I think if you're going to have a go at someone, you do it
behind closed doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And they know exactly what the problem is. Everybody's had bad times, and when you're having a bad bit of form going, it's up to the managers to sort that out. And our ideal world, you do it at the training ground, you do it, as I said before, you don't do it to the press sometimes.
He's definitely getting frustrated now.
Yeah.
But from a Rangers point of view, they're picked up. They've got Celtic in the Cup final, coming up at the weekend League Cup final, so they'll be delighted with that.
Yeah. City target top midfielder, story on the back of the Times. Paul Hurst writes this morning, City ready to enter the transfer market for reinforcements next month. They look to try and pick up some form after, as we know, a real tough run. Two of the names mentioned, Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle, also Zubimendi, who Liverpool will link with in the summer, plays his football at Real Sociedad. If they've got any chance, boys, of trying to get back in this title race, is signing someone a DM out? Is that an absolute must this window?
I think so now. I think they've got to shake it up a wee bit. Look, they've had injuries to top players. Haaland, against Juventus, if he takes that chance, it could be a different result. He needs more service. When you get someone as powerful and as deadly as him, he needs more service, and he's not getting it at the moment.
I'd be surprised if Guimaraes lost.
They're not going to sell in January, are they?
I thought he's just signed a new contract, isn't he?
Yeah.
So why would he? I think he looks like he's enjoying his football up there. I know, look, Newcastle need a couple of results themselves, but I'd be amazed if that happened.
Well, Alan Shearer had a go yesterday, didn't he? We were talking about it on the breakfast show. He said the club are letting the fans down now. All these big expectations, they're not coming up with the goods. They're not coming up with the signings. They're not spending money. So
it's a fair play now, isn't it? It's a bit of fair play. You've got to balance the books these days.
The FFP stuff,
you can't do what Man City did. They've got just as much money as Man City, probably. But they can't go out. They can't go out and buy everyone like Man City did. They've got to be careful how they spend their money now.
Yeah, what about Manchester United? Is there much in the papers about them today?
Yeah, to be honest, the majority of the headlines are sort of talking about the fight off the pitch. Not the fight, but the argument, the disagreement that happened between Højlund and Ahmad. Højlund wins it, then fights with Diallo. That's the back of the Times this morning. Checkmate back in the mirror. Amorim wins tactical chess match and then tells 2-goal substitute Højlund, carry on arguing. I was thinking, Ruben Amorim's come into a football team that we know are massively underperforming. They're absolutely all over the place. And as soon as he walks in from game one, he has got a game of football every 3 days with a bunch of players that are on his own. And it almost feels like he's basically doing a pre-season training camp during the middle of a Premier League season. How hard must that... Is time an absolute must here? Whatever happens this season, whether they come top four or finish bottom half, you've got to give this guy time.
They will give him time because... at the moment, the powers that be that own the club, Sir Jim, he won't want to be paying another few million to get rid of him and his staff. So he's going to give him time. But you look at the squad, you look at the players, he's got to do something because has there been a vast improvement? I've not seen it. I thought Ipswich should have beaten them at Portman Road when I watched the game. So there's not been a vast improvement. He might get there. And who knows, maybe this weekend they might go to City and beat City. It's a good time to play City. So this could be a turning point of the weekend.
There also was actually a good story as well on the back of the Mail this morning. Dithering down, United sacked Ashworth due to indecision in manager hunt. There was a bit of a grey cloud, wasn't there, over just why Ashworth went. But Sammy Motbell says that simply he wasn't very decisive in terms of who he wanted to come in to replace Eric Ten Hag. He says that two of the managers he was interested in was Graham Potter and Eddie Howe, but Sidney Ratcliffe basically looked at the situation, didn't like how Dan Ashworth dealt with it, or I should say didn't deal with it really, and that was one of the main reasons why they decided to let him go.
So Jim, we don't know what his football brain's like. He's clearly a very clever man, business-wise.
I'm sure he's speaking to Sir Alex as well.
Well, I'd hope so.
I should imagine, because he's got the care of the club itself still. He goes to every game still, Sir Alex. So I'm sure that he'd be having a little quiet word with him and seeing what he thinks.
I think he'd be mad not to. I know the game's moved on, but at the same time, Fergie, you've got to use a brain like that.
Absolutely.
Got to. Sam's that it? We got any others?
One more for you. Chairman tells Wolves fans negativity achieves nothing. A rallying cry from the Wolves chairman. We know it's been a tough start to the season for them. They find themselves in the bottom three.
Wolves,
massive game against Ipswich. How do you see it going, Al?
I just, Wolves got battered, didn't they? Everton thumped them
4-0. And then lost to West Ham on Monday.
We just can't keep clean sheets.
I'm going to go Wolves to win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
only slightly.
I'll take a score draw, but is that good enough for Wolves and Ipswich, a score draw?
Do you fear for Gary O'Neill both? I mean, the chairman's come out and backed him, but in the bottom three, 1 win all season
lost
in the
two
league.
Big players, didn't they?
Neto and Kilman.
Yeah, absolutely. And you didn't really replace them.
Yeah.
So
if
you're always going to be under pressure.
If you're going to sell your two best players, not replace them.
Realistically, I think the Wolves fans know they're going to be probably in a relegation battle, but it's now. This is a big game the weekend. I know we said West Ham was a big game, but West Ham got the points they needed. But Wolves, being at home, there's a little bit more pressure on you to win the game.
Sam, just a quick, why are you not out in New Zealand?
Rest and rotation, all part of talkSPORT's rest and rotation policy. They're gearing me up for the Ashes next winter. Give some of the younger people an opportunity. And
Who's that? What, Johnny Norman?
Ashes, Sean Norman,
Johnny
and Steve
Norman,
Harmison. Yeah. I'm ready for the Ashes next winter.
All right, Timo Werner.
Timo.
You're not going anywhere, are you?
No, sadly not.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.